So welcome everybody to the Laboratory for Expanded Design's second summer workshop. We chose these two themes to act as a kind of background and a framework for the design projects that we expect you to do during this particular week. So one theme is performance, obviously. We're looking at all kinds of different senses of performance within design. And let's see talk about that. And then there's also migration. Migration is like a background theme. So the simple claim is we live in an age of mass migration, and as we get older, we are just going to see that phenomenon become exacerbated. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So this particular migrant crisis that the EU is supposedly going through right now, that's going to become the new normal. Okay? There's going to be migration because of the impacts of climate change, for agricultural reasons, for food crop failures, for all kinds of economic reasons that are knock-on effects of climate change impact, not to mention civil war and war. So the whole question of what is a frontier, what does it mean to be a citizen of a nation state, the right of the soil, the right of life, all these questions are going to be up for grabs during your lifetime. We're all performing social roles all the time. Okay, and there is a whole set of material structures that enable us to do that. So I'm sitting quite conveniently smack bang in the middle of the room, up the front, and I, even if I hadn't thought about that unconsciously, I would have drifted there. Okay, because I've been training myself to be a professor for about 20 years now. Okay, so there are social roles, and we switch between them more or less comfortably. Right? So I play the role of a brother, I play the role of an uncle, I play the role of a father, etc., etc. And I've got to switch between those social roles. So we have, and those are constitutive of my entire experience of life. And as Hegel will point out, they are more fundamental at an ethical level than any question of right and wrong. Right? So the most fundamental level of ethics is how I relate to people through my social role. So that's the first sense, and designers, that's a social role as well. Okay. So first there's performance as social role. Who are you for other people? The second major sense of performance is probably the easiest to understand for designers, and that's simply design for performance. So when we design, we try to design a product or a service or an infrastructure such that it will perform better. Okay, so I design a chair and I design it so it's going to be ergonomic. Okay, or I design it so it's going to perform better in economic terms because the materials are cheaper. Or I design it for environmental performance because it can be pulled apart really quickly and recycled. Okay, so that's probably the mainstream, the dominant sense of performance within design studies is the performance of the object. Right? So your intention is to increase the performance, and you have a finite set of parameters.
Design and performance are not two separate fields that we are now trying to jam together. Some smart idea, the smart idea was to say, let's say, put performance and design together. But if we kind of think about it, and if we reflect on basically what we do every day, we realize that design and performance are integrally kind of bound, and we cannot pull them also apart. Now, on one hand, we design for movement, we can script it, we can give instructions as to how, a group of actors move on stage. But that group of actors, while moving on stage, perhaps following a script which is habitual, or perhaps which are already ingrained within their kind of bodily senses, they're sort of moving in ways that do not immediately follow the kind of performance criteria of the design of the work. When movement allows bodies to think differently, I want you to think as designers and as performers, what actually happens to a kind of thinking? What sort of thinking happens when a body moves? And not just our physical body, but the body of the group, the body of the space, the body of the ecology that we kind of participate in as it moves. And you will find that we will move as a group, we will move as separate groups, right? And this sort of movement in the process of design, in the process of performing design, is going to give us a way of thinking